Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope so you guys are doing well. So the topic that today we are going to discuss is macrosomia. So as the word macro means big or large and somia means body, which means large body. So now as you guys can see the definition, fetus with a birth weight above 4000 gram per kg or above 90th centile for gestational age. Now what is 90th centile? Okay, we get that the weight is above 4000 gram or 4 kg, but what is 90th centile? So the 90th centile actually means, okay, so here you guys can see weight on y-axis and on x-axis weeks of gestation. So you can guys can see 90th centile, 10th centile. So above 90th centile it is written large for gestational age. Between 90th and 10th centile it is appropriate for gestational age, and below 10th centile there is small for gestational age. So now I'll give you an example. For example, if the weeks of gestation are 36, okay, 36, and the weight is, for example, 4000 grams. So now if I plot this, okay, so this is the point. So it is above the 90th centile. It is above the 90th centile. So this baby is most probably be macrosomic. Okay, so now we will going to discuss about the risk factors for having a large baby. Now what are the risk factors for having the large baby? So number one risk factor is elevated blood sugar level. So if the mother is having elevated blood sugar, then there are more chances of having a large baby. If there are multiple pregnancies, as the more the baby the mother will have, the chances of having another one, it gets higher. The next baby born will be of, it will be large. If there is excessive weight gain, if the baby is especially male, usually the boys typically weigh a little more than girls, and larger babies are often male. And overconsumption of processed foods, then if Hispanic or white ethnicity is there, um, because the Hispanic or white people, they have, the mothers tend to have bigger babies than mothers from other backgrounds. And number 7 is family or personal history. Genetics is a very big risk factor for having a large baby. And number 8 is over 35, if the mother is over 35 years of age. And number 9 is past due date. So these are the macrosomic risk factors of having a large baby. So now, as I said before, that how does the gestational diabetes actually cause macrosomia? So now what really happen is that we will start from over here, that excess glucose in mom, that means that mother has excess of glucose, she is diabetic. So now when gestational diabetes is not well controlled, excess glucose can be left in the blood. Now the blood has a lot of sugars in it. So now what will happen is that these excess glucose travels to the growing baby from the mother's bloodstream via the placenta and umbilical cord. Now it will go from here through the placenta into this little baby. So now what really happens is that as a lot of glucose is going to the baby, so as there are a lot of glucose molecules over here, so the pancreas will start to produce insulin against this glucose. So now when now the baby will start to produce insulin. So the insulin causes the body store the excess glucose as fat, which takes the baby grow larger than normal. Now as the baby will produce insulin, and the glucose will then be be stored as fat, and the baby will start to grow. So now I'll explain this mechanism a little, a bit more. So now what really happens is that, um, as the mother is going to have excess glucose, so this excess glucose is going to be stored um, in the baby. So this excess glucose will be stored in liver as glycogen, or with the help of insulin converted into fatty acids. Fatty acids circulated to other parts of the body and stored as fat. Okay, so now what really will happen is that this will lead to increased total body fat, increased shoulder and upper extremity circumference, and number third is increased skin fold thickness, and number fourth is increased liver, heart, adrenals, and thymus size. Now everything is increasing, so the baby will be large. So this will lead to a lot of complications. So at first we are going to discuss about the maternal complications, then the intrapartum complications, then the postpartum neonatal complications. So now what are maternal complications? So the what complications the mother will have? So number one complication is that there are more chances of having C-section as compared to normal delivery. There will be more chances of forceps delivery and vacuum extraction, as the baby is large, and it will be very difficult for the baby to get out. So forceps or vacuum extraction or C-section will be needed. And if the baby is large, it can lead to perineal tear, that is trauma to the perineum. So this one is the first degree perineal tear. This one is the second degree perineal tear, third degree perineal tear, as the anal sphincter is torn as well as the perineal muscles are torn, and the fourth degree perineal tear. In this, the rectum is also torn along with the anal sphincter. Okay, so these were the maternal complications. Now what are going to be the intrapartum risks? Intrapartum means when the baby is inside the mother. So what really happens is that the major complication is shoulder dystocia. So what is actually shoulder dystocia? So as you guys can see that there is intrauterine pressure which is caused by maternal contractions. So there is a lot of pressure, there is a lot of contractions going on. So what really happen is that this shoulder gets impacted on the pubic symphysis. This is a pubic symphysis and it gets impacted. So when it gets impacted, and this axis is anterior posterior one. I am going to write anterior posterior one. So this diameter is the narrowest diameter. So it is very difficult for the baby to get out. So it is very difficult for the baby to get delivered. So now what really happens is that different maneuvers are then done to deliver the baby, but sometimes the doctors have to break the clavicle of the baby so that it can be delivered. So the dangers of shoulder dystocia would be that obviously the baby is impacted, so it is very difficult to deliver the baby. So sometimes during the delivery what really happens is that brachial plexus of the baby gets damaged. Sometimes there is umbilical cord entrapment. Sometimes the inability of child's chest to expand properly, and there can also be severe brain damage or death due to hypoxia or acidosis if delay in delivery. So these are the major dangers of shoulder dystocia. So now what are the postpartum neonatal complication, that which means postpartum means that the baby has been delivered and now what are the complications. So usually the baby needs to be get admitted in NICU. And thank you so much for watching this, and hope so you guys liked my video. So do subscribe, like and share. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.